Hello everyone, and welcome back to Dragalia Foundry. A ton of information was released last night, and we're going to start talking about it today in this video with a focus on the version update, all of the changes that are coming from that. If you haven't seen it already, we did get a Fire Emblem Lost Heroes teaser. We got to see Marth with kind of a flame aura around him, so I'm thinking he's going to be a flame character, just like he's a fire legendary hero in Fire Emblem Heroes. We saw Fjorm looking like she is still going to be a water lance, and we saw Veronica and Loki. Veronica looks like she'll probably be a shadow wand, and maybe Loki won't be playable. Maybe she'll be a dragon though, you never know. But it all looks so good. The artwork on that teaser looks like it's heavily inspired by Fire Emblem Awakening. We have the same pose that's seen on the box art. So I'm going to post a link in the description below if you haven't checked it out already on the Nintendo Mobile channel. It is well worth a watch to build the hype. We don't know about the banner for that yet, so that's why I'm going to make that video second to talk about the event and the preview that we do have, what I can speculate about it. So I'll make that video in the future, but in the interest of keeping this as concise as possible, since that's something I struggle with, we're just going to hit the highlights here as far as update 1.7.1. So it is out now. Go ahead and update so you're not encountering any issues as far as co-op across different versions of the game. Everybody's going to be getting a free 10-fold summon voucher as part of this. And of course, the biggest change is going to be how summoning works. Wyrmprints are going to be acquired through a treasure trade after this maintenance that starts 3 hours before reset tonight. So make sure you do your dailies, you do any summoning that you do want to do for whatever reason for Silas before 3 hours prior to reset tonight. Otherwise, you're going to be in that maintenance period until reset, until the new mode, Defensive Battles, and whatever new banner we get comes out. So the other information that I haven't talked about much is, in addition to Wyrmprints leaving the summoning pool, summoning is going to be cheaper. It's going to be 1,200 per 10-fold or 120 per single, and I could see this burning some players who spend a lot of money because you're not getting past Diamantium or Wyrmite refunded. Instead, the way they're compensating players is basically through Eldwater with an estimate of how many 3 stars you could have gotten for the cheaper summoning price, and basically they'll take the average that you could have gotten and subtract what you actually did get and give you Eldwater to compensate you for the difference. So it's kind of a weak compensation when you know that Cygames has all the information. They've given very specific compensations in the past, but honestly, I just think giving 300 per 10-fold we've ever done, it would just be too much value. I just think that it would set us up to summon for so many months. They really can't afford to do that, and we kind of have to just look at this, essentially that as a sunk cost, and to get to enjoy this new price going forward. But if you were to spend a lot of money in the past, like I could see this kind of burning you. For me, it's a pure positive, but let me know if you feel differently about it. I also think it's not a coincidence that this comes out with this brand new event that's going to draw in a lot of players. Hopefully this will hook people in, make it clear that it's pretty easy to summon, and it's not super expensive to do so. Besides that, of course, we get some detail on our defensive battles. Another big change is AI is now very good. It's stronger, it attacks proactively. It can use Force Strikes in autoplay, or as AI, as your teammates, they can all use Force Strikes now, and they do so when the enemy is in overdrive to help break them faster. It is very good, in my opinion, that they can do this, because in the past, I've always had to put a disclaimer on Force Strike Wyrmprints that, hey, this will only work if your character is controlled by you. They can't use this in auto battle. This whole mechanic is disabled in auto battle or for the AI. So that is no longer a concern. That is a thing of the past. There are some changes to creating rooms. You can now set objectives like earn epithets, clear endeavors, repeat a quest, which is awesome, or seek help. There's a room list, and you can now view condition trends, and you can view conditions on the rooms in that list. For me, really, I only really do Imperial Onslaught and Void battles in public lobbies, and there's not a high need to set these conditions just because I play so much of my co-op over with you guys on our Discord server. So for that reason, I may be a little bit isolated to what pubs are like at times. I do run the occasional high dragon trial in a public lobby, but it tends to not go that well. Usually, unfortunately, it kind of falls apart or there's some other issues. So I don't know how big a change this is, so I'd be curious to hear what you think about this change, but all of it seems in the right direction to me. You can also now see the dragons players have equipped from the team screen, which is good because you can see if a DPS is using Phoenix, or if somebody with low HP actually has a dragon like Prometheus to make them more tanky than they look. Positive change. In addition, the social reward is going to be reset. So basically, for the first new 50 players you play co-op with, you can earn 50 Wyrmite per player. And that's going to be a total of 2,500, which under our new system is enough for 2 10-fold summons. This basically lasts forever as well. There's not a time limit on this, so good change, good for new players, good incentive since I've seen so many of you with a lot of wings stockpiled. Good incentive to start spinning those wings as you level up rather than just letting them top over 12 into 30, 40. I've seen some of you with 99 wings, I'm pretty sure. So hopefully this will get you to start spinning those wings and trying out co-op. Another big change is Wyrmprints are now going to get an ability upgrade at 2 unbindings in addition to their artwork upgrade. And then they're going to get an even further ability upgrade at max unbound. So positive change. We really don't know what this means. Certain Wyrmprints, like the Chocolatiers, it goes up to 100% skill prep. So it's probably pretty obvious that it has 50% at base, maybe they'll do 75% at 2 unbound, and maybe they'll do 100% at max unbound. But some abilities, like right now there's Shield Prep, which has numbered stages, like Shield Prep 1 enhances to Shield Prep 2. It's not clear, is there going to be a Shield Prep 1.5 or what? So we'll see later. There are some other adjustments to Wyrmprints that kind of draw upon this or interact with this, and it makes it so that content should be a lot easier. It makes it so things like High Mercury probably, it's clear now that they were probably designed around this, these stronger Wyrmprints and easier to access to Wyrmprints through the shop. So some other changes, enemies who are knocked down can be attacked. This works out well with that 4-strike AI change, since it means that you're not going to be waiting around for them to stand up to defeat them. You can now sort your Wyrmprints in a list instead of a grid. We can have 9 teams instead of 6. A lot of players had been asking for this. And of course, the sticker change. So press F to pay respects for Nope, Gur, and Really. I feel kind of guilty, like I may have been a part of this somehow because I made my sticker tier list and I said these are kind of toxic. It's kind of sad to me that they're actually leaving the game forever just because I know people use these in a joking way with their friends. And it's not always used in a negative way, and honestly, it kind of hurts more to see people use like good job or you got this sarcastically than it does to see one of these stickers. So, be careful what you wish for, I guess. But I also have to wonder, is one of you a Cygames plant? Because how? How was this change made? Did people see that video? Because I just feel like it's too crazy to be a coincidence. But honestly, these new stickers are good. This one in Japanese kind of translates to gather together from what I understand. So this is basically when you're grouping up to take a red marker like in Void Zephyr, High Brunhilde, or High Midgard Stormer. Again, perfect sticker because now with how co-op works, you don't want to hit the give up button. If your character dies, you can stay grouped up with your teammates and just try the same quest again. This lets you tell people that's what you plan to do. I used to use Here Goes as a way to signal that. This is even more clear. And you got this. Just a positive sticker with Nod. I love it. I love the stickers, but yeah, press F to pay respects. I'm sorry, guys. I hope I didn't contribute to the downfall of those stickers. And it's going to be sad to make a future tier list because now all the stickers are like so jolly. There's no low tier stickers anymore. Regarding trading Wyrmprints in the shop, here we see where we're going to trade them. We find out that there's going to be some featured Wyrmprints. some in this category are available for a limited time. So you don't want to go in here guns blazing and just go ham and just buy one of every Wyrmprint just for the heck of it. Try to think strategically, be a little conservative, save that Eldwater because, you know, there might be some limited Wyrmprints in here, maybe some limited Fire Emblem Heroes Wyrmprints. Maybe for the next holiday there's going to be some Wyrmprints. So having a reserve of Eldwater becomes more important. And if you really want to get a Wyrmprint, just remember, you know, it takes time. You have to unbind it, you have to level it up, and Consecrated Water, we don't know that they're going to become more available. So it takes a while to level up Wyrmprints. So if I had to make one suggestion, I would say probably the best Wyrmprint if you're dying to make a purchase is Levin's Champion, just because it does something that none of the free Wyrmprints we've gotten in the past can do very easily. So we have free Wyrmprints that provide 25% skill damage like Plunder Pals and Hitting the Books. We have a strength Wyrmprint like Astounding Trick. But that critical Wyrmprint, critical rate, and critical damage, we don't really have, and Levin's Champion is such a nice complement as a secondary print to either of those skill damage or strength prints that I think if I had to just make a blanket recommendation, that would probably be my one pick. I'm a little bit less high on Resounding Rendition these days because of the advent of, you know, weapon-specific Wyrmprints where you're getting 35% skill damage. I see Resounding Rendition as having tougher competition than it used to. So that's kind of how I feel about the Wyrmprint trade. Be aware there's going to be limited time Wyrmprints in there, so you want to save for those. You can check the amount of copies you have, you can check the abilities when Wyrmprints are fully unbound, and we get a lot of other small quality of life changes, a lot of UI changes, a schedule for void battles. Now in raids, you only have to keep your party alive to get the endeavors for that. These are all pretty minor changes, but they're good ones. You can now see conditional strength on your characters, so it just makes it feel a little better to see your characters being stronger, even though it's just the display change. Now we come to the last piece of news, and these are the balance adjustments. These are big changes. So I'll start off with some of the smaller ones, and we'll work our way there. Quests are now going to drop Wyrmprints, main campaign quests, 3-star rarity and higher. We can see which Wyrmprints are dropped on the details screen. The good thing about this is, even if these are really bad Wyrmprints, this means that there's basically a farmable source of Eldwater in the game, because you can sell those Wyrmprints and buy better prints. So that is a huge change just for that reason alone. It is probably our first recurring source of Eldwater outside of facility events where you could grind up the prints from those. So I think this is a good change, better than it looks. And the other side effect of this is as players scout out which quests give better prints, if that's a thing, you can use skip tickets for those, because right now skip tickets have been kind of useless. You don't really want to use them on your dailies if you have time to play them out or auto battle them, because when you play them, there's a chance you get a rare enemy. So that gives a reason for skip tickets to exist, so I kind of like that. We're also going to get more weapon space. Great, because as we play quests, dailies, void battles, you accumulate random weapons. Even if you didn't hit your cap through weapons you actually like, you get so many random lower level weapons that this will mean you have to clear out your inventory less. We're also going to get more amounts of daily bonuses and a greater number of rewards. So I assume this means the number of little treasure chests on daily quests is going to increase. But I don't know for which ones, if it's for all of them, only for avenues, only for dragon trials, only for IO, for what it is and how much the rewards increase. Whether there are new materials that we get for free from that, like Consecrated Water, that'd be nice. So we're going to have to wait and see on that. Then we find out that elemental scales are going to be removed from the lower level circles of upgrading for adventurers. Good change, going to make it easier for newer players to bring their characters up to speed faster. And for older players, you're going to actually get those scales refunded, which you can put toward your Dracoliths. You could even put toward your Fafnir statues in your Halidom. So it's not a bad thing at all that they're going to get those refunds. And if, you know, nothing else, you can put them toward future characters. Then, of course, the two big changes here, last two changes I want to talk about today. co-ability effects for 3 and 4 stars are going to match those of 5 stars once fully upgraded. As if 3 and 4 stars couldn't already be used for such a variety of content, now they are legitimately at that level of 5 stars, at least through their co-abilities. And in my opinion, 5 stars, still going to be stronger. They have that level 2 on their 3rd ability. They do have generally a little bit higher stats than 4 stars and 3 stars, but this feels like such a good change because 3 stars and 4 stars, you're already paying a higher price to bring to their max potential because you have to spend Eldwater to promote them. So the fact that now, if you're willing to pay that price, you get the same amount of co-ability, that just feels so much better in my opinion, because that was almost like kicking them while they're down, like insult to injury. The fact that you spent all these resources and the character is still inherently worse because of this arbitrary limitation, it did feel kind of bad before. And yes, 3 and 4 stars still have a slightly higher hill to climb because for 3 stars, they only have 1 real ability. Their affliction resistance is split into 2, and it doesn't even go up to 100%, so oftentimes that means their Wyrmprint slots get locked down by affliction res. So they're still inherently a little bit weaker, but more so than ever, you can use them for anything you want. Characters like Melody are going to be insane now by providing both a high strength co-ability and very frequent strength buffs. And 4 stars are basically equivalent to 5 stars now if you're willing to spend that 25k Eldwater to promote them. So I think this is an awesome change. Very happy to see my Pietra will have 15% defense instead of 9%. Eleonora going to go up to 15% as far as her skill haste instead of 11%. Then we get to these Wyrmprint abilities increased overall. That's all it says. You really don't know what that means, I mentioned the Chocolatiers earlier. How can you increase the potency of that? It already gives you skill prep of 100%. So there have to be some specific details as to what this means, if it's going to apply differently print to print. Basically, we see that they're also raising the cap across both prints. And so for certain prints, I could see the 2 Unbind stage having this level of power, and the Max Unbind stage having more like this level of power. We're going to have to wait and see tomorrow what that entails, but overall a good change, and once again, it makes you realize that High Mercury is kind of designed around this. The amount of damage we're going to deal is going to go up a lot with a change like this. Lastly, we get a couple more little details, we get some issues fixed, but that is basically it as far as this version update. Like I said at the beginning of this video, I am so excited for Fire Emblem Lost Heroes tomorrow. I'm happy to see this version update now. Welcome to Dragalia Lost if you're new to the game. It's a perfect time to dive in, and we'll get into more of why that is when I talk about the specifics of the event. So I hope you look forward to that video later today. We've already gone on longer than I had hoped, but thank you so much for watching, everyone. That's going to do it for this video. Take care, and I'll see you next time.